My name is Barbara McClary, and I'm the founder of Broken Teacup. Someone just posed a question to me in Broken Teacup that I thought was important to answer. They asked me, is it possible to be inside of a marriage and be lonely? The answer is absolutely yes. You can be married and be alone in that marriage. One of the reasons why is because when people are married, there's certain things that go into a good marriage. I can speak from experience because me and my husband have been married a very long time. But the main important key in a marriage is communication. You have to be able to communicate. Now, it wasn't always like that between me and my husband. People always say, you and your husband are so cute. You know, you all are so in love with each other, but he didn't come out the box that way. It took a lot of prayer. It took me going to God with my situations. Instead of talking to anyone else, I went to God about the problems that we were having in our marriage at that time. But one thing me and my husband always had was commitment. We were always committed to each other and devoted. No matter what we went through, we were always devoted to one another. And the marriage was the foremost thing that was important to both of us. That's very important when you're talking about sustaining a marriage with longevity. We communicated. We always made each other laugh. I always said that if I wasn't married to my husband, he would have been one of my best friends. We always went places together. We always did things together. And that type of relationship really pisses people off because, especially people that are not used to that type of relationship. People used to always say, me and my husband were always around each other, but it worked for us. We were always with one another. We always did everything together. Matter of fact, we still do. But when you talk about building a marriage with longevity, you have to learn to keep people out of your marriage. People have to be kept out of your marriage. Their opinion should not matter. Nobody should cross the boundaries of marriage. So, longevity, to be married for a very long time, communication is key. Number one thing, you have to keep prayer in it, you have to keep God in it. You have to be devoted to one another. You have to be loyal to one another. There's so many ingredients that go into a marriage to sustaining longevity. There is, like I said, boundaries that people should never cross. You have to remember the Word of God says that when a man takes a wife, he is to leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. If God calls a man to leave one of the strongest relationships on this earth, his mother and father, and cleave to his wife, nobody else matters. No one should cross the boundaries of a marriage. A man should cleave to his wife, and that is the word. So when you think about longevity in marriage, you have to pray that God opens the communication. Communication is key in a long term marriage, devotion, loyalty, being able to trust one another. And again, it wasn't always like that between me and my husband, but it has become like that. He was always my best friend, even through bad times. He was a person that I just loved to be around, that always made me laugh, and he felt the same way about me. So you can be in a marriage and be lonely, but God would not have it that way. God would want you to be loving towards one another. You ever seen two older people that have been together a long time? One looks one way and the other looks another way. There's no conversation going on. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship like that. I would want to be in a loving relationship, and God can do that for you. So yes, sweetheart, you can be in a marriage where you are lonely, but you have to pray to God that the Lord opens the communication up between you two and removes the block, whatever's causing you two not to communicate to each other. That's what you have to pray for. Okay, love you, bye.